U.S.-led coalition forces have launched airstrikes against the Islamic State and other terrorist groups in Syria. Jets bombed several positions in the northern part of the country, including oil refineries seized by the Islamic State. The Netherlands, Belgium, and the United Kingdom are expected to soon join the coalition. While the airstrikes are reportedly targeting the Islamic State group, the perpetuation of violence is contributing to a refugee crisis in Syria. Over 3 years of civil war between the government of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and militant groups has displaced over half of Syria's population. The UN High Commission for Refugees has warned that 140,000 refugees have already fled the country, many of whom have entered neighboring Turkey. International heads of state came together with business, finance, and civil society leaders at the United Nations in New York this week. They announced immediate actions to tackle climate change. The measure includes an initial $100 billion investment to tackle the global environmental risk faced by humanity. UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon says the actions announced today show eagerness to confront the serious problems the world faces in regards to climate change. Latin American leaders took to the podium in New York City on Wednesday at the 69th gathering of the United Nations General Assembly. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro called for an end to military solutions in the Middle East. Argentine President Cristina Fernandez, as well as Brazilian head of state Dilma Rousseff and Chilean President Michelle Bachelet, all called for reform of the world's most important multilateral organization. Bachelet referred to the United Nations as an irreplaceable institution and urged for a greater role for the UN Security Council in resolving conflicts.
Colombia's government, led by Chief Negotiator Humberto de la Calle, announced some of the achievements that have been made so far during peace negotiations with the FARC. He addressed the 3 points on which the two teams have so far agreed, those being land reform, political participation and the issue of drugs. Now, there are many extremely interesting points that came out of what de la Calle said, but perhaps one of the most interesting was a commitment between the two teams that the links between politics and drugs must be brought to an end. Now, that essentially means that the government has committed itself to dismantling the paramilitary organisations that continue to terrorise many parts of Colombia. Finishing his speech, Humberto de la Calle emphasised the fact that nothing is agreed until everything is agreed. So Colombia must now wait for a final agreement to be made. Charles Parkinson in Bogotá, Colombia.
Citizens in Baja California expressed frustration over what they say is a slow official response in the wake of Hurricane Odile that violently tore through the region a week ago. Yet this is not the first time the government faces staunch criticism. In Guerrero, indigenous communities continue to demand sufficient response a year after hurricanes devastated their communities. However, there is common ground between the affected communities and authorities on what they believe is the root causes of the growing frequency and violence of these natural events. As residents once again pick up the pieces of their shattered lives, it remains to be seen if effective measures will be employed to prevent future and further devastation. Clayton Khan, teleSUR, Mexico City.